Hello everyone, today we're talking about a very controversial but important topic, how robots and technology affect human jobs. In the last few years, automation has gone very far. Robots work in factories, artificial intelligence write text, draw pictures, and even help customers. And many people ask a simple question, what will be left for us, for humans? On the one hand, technology makes life easier. Production becomes faster, medicine more accurate, and business more efficient. But on the other hand, the more things we automate, the fewer jobs are left for people. For example, a study by Oxford University made by Carl Ray and Michael Osborne in 2013 years showed that about 47% of all jobs in the United States could be automated in the next decades. More recent data from the World Economic Forum report in 2023 years shows that the next 5 years, about 23% of jobs around the world will disappear or completely change because of technologies like AI and automation. This is happening fastest in transport, media, and entertainment. But in fields like manufacturing and trade, people are still harder to replace. Right now, about 34% of all business tasks are done by machines, and the remaining 66% by humans. In a few years, automation is expected to grow to around 32%. What's interesting is that robots will start doing not only physical work, but also tasks that need thinking, communication, and coordination. So basically, technology is not just helping people, it's starting to replace entire professions. And here comes an important ethical question. Is it fair and moral to replace people with machine only for profit and efficiency? For example, if a company fires workers and installs robots to save money on salaries, is that progress or is that explanation of technology against people? In my opinion, replacing humans with machine only for profit raises serious moral questions. Later, we're talking about why automation is growing so fast, what its pros and cons are, and how different philosophers and economists see it.
Automation is not just about replacing people with machines. This is a process that completely changes the labor market and structure of society. On the one hand, this process has obvious advantages. Robots and artificial intelligence make it possible to perform dangerous or routine work faster and safer. Thanks to them, the number of errors is reduced, productivity is increased, and the person has the opportunity to focus on more creative and managerial tasks. For example, according to the McKinsey Global Institute, automation could boost global GDP by 12% annually by 2030, and from 8 to 9% of the demand for labor will come from new types of professions that did not exist before. From the point of view of utilitarianism, as John Stuart Mill suggested, automation brings benefits. It makes products cheaper, improves working conditions, and increases efficiency. That is, if you look at it from the perspective of the greatest benefit for the majority, technology looks positive. But there is a downside. According to a study by the International Labour Organization, workers with the low skills and low earnings are the greatest risk of automation, which can lead to a job and income loss for sensitive groups. The philosophers also warned of the consequences. Hannah Arendt in The Human Condition and Erich Fromm also warned about the risk of alienation. This shows that when the machines take over the function of labor, people can lose the meaning of their activities. In other words, progress is underway, but the question arises for what? If technology is developing, but at the same time thousands of people are left without work and meaning, can this be considered a real development of society? I believe that although automation increases efficiency, we should not forget about the people who lose their jobs. Therefore, next we will try to look at this problem from an ethical point of view, how philosophy helps to understand where the line lies between the benefits of technology and moral limitation.
Now we have reached the most challenging part, the ethical questions of replacing humans with technology. On one hand, many economists and engineers see automation as inevitable and beneficial. It increases efficiency, reduces cost, and creates new professions. From a philosophical perspective, this can be viewed through the lens of utilitarianism, the greatest good of the greatest number, as John Stuart Mill once said. But on the other hand, we face serious moral challenges. A human being is not just a source of labor, he seeks meaning, self realization, and social recognition. When technology completely replaces people in work, that once gave them identity and purpose, a deep sense of alienation arises. That is exactly what philosophers like Hannah Arendt and Erich Fromm warned about. From an ethical standpoint, we face a dilemma. To what extent is it acceptable to replace human in the name of profit and efficiency? For example, when robots are introduced into production lines, companies save money, but workers lose their job. From a business perspective, this seems rational, but from a moral standpoint, is it right? Here comes the idea of technological social responsibility. Technology must serve humanity, not dominate it. Some modern philosophers and AI researchers, such as Nick Bostrom, warn that creating superintelligent machines is a turning point that could radically reshape our world. As he said, the first ultra-intelligent machine is the last invention that man need ever make, provided the machine is docile enough to tell us how to keep it under control. In other words, we must carefully think about how to control technology so that it serves people rather than subjugates them. This is especially relevant to employment. If robots fully replace human labor, we must make ethical decisions in advance where is the line between efficiency and human well-being. In my view, technology must serve humanity, not control it. Otherwise, progress becomes a threat to society. Philosophy reminds us that true progress is not measured by the number of robots or algorithms, but by how justly and responsibly we use these achievements. Technology should help people realize their potential, preserve their dignity, and find meaning of work and life. Only then can it be truly human. Ultimately, technological progress is not just a path towards efficiency and profit, it is a test for humanity itself. Can we preserve our values, justice, and sense of responsibility toward future generations? Let technology serve people, not the other way around. Only then will progress remain a blessing, not a threat. So, that's all. Thank you for your attention.